Hi, I'm Michael Mando,
aka Voss from Far Cry 3. You're watching PlayStation Access.
Oh dear Lord, yes you are. Make sure you watch the whole episode or you might upset him. You've only got to sit through this lot. We're off to Ubisoft Montreal for a behind-the-camera look at Far Cry 3, doing dance routines and pom-poms with the ladies from Pineapple Dance Studios, and surfing a tidal wave of news in our PlayStation briefing. First up though, we've got sand and moral dilemmas in our Game of the Week, Spec Ops: The Line. At this point, the words "another shooter" and "starring Nolan North" might be the most overused in all of games. The world needs more army gun blockbusters like it needs a hole in the head, with its own teeth and vocal cords, cords provided naturally by the always-on-hand Mr. North. But that's what Spec Ops: The Line gives us anyway, stuffing you into a pair of Delta Force trousers and sending you into the desert to pile up the corpses with chafing results.
A local airborne insurgency has infiltrated the US zone designated as my pants.
But wait, that was actually funny, and actually so is a lot of the rest of the game. In fact, the three-man team led by Captain Martin Walker is a tightly written unit full of character and likeability. What's going on there? What's going on is that Spec Ops is more than just another hyperbolic days of bullets and machismo. It's not really about charging from cover to cover and blasting foreigners to pieces. Well, it is, but it's also an unsettlingly atmospheric story, with Walker's unit encountering the unknown and downright nasty in uncharted territory.
There was no reason for any of this. We were looking for survivors.
Specifically, that territory is a ruined version of the opulent Dubai. It's already obscene desert luxury, now haunted by a mixture of hostile survivors and the scattered remains of a previous US Army unit sent into the city who've gone rogue, verging on all-out private pile. For the player, this means two things. One, the dusty environment is a genuine original, with sandstorms giving even the most regular shootouts a claustrophobic intensity. And best of all, the reshaped landscape of Dubai's once glorious hotels and apartments now offer loads of opportunities to drown enemies horribly and dryly under tons of sand.
Take 'em out!
If the Journey into Madness storyline sounds familiar, it's probably because it's a loose adaptation of Joseph Conrad's classic Heart of Darkness, or if you don't read so good, because you've probably seen Apocalypse Now. And if that sounds like a sort of crazy idea for a shooter, then it's just testament to the line's unusual ambition. Yes, the squad controls are throwaway and the shooting itself is fun but unexceptional. But in its creeping mood and focus on character, the game's clearly trying to be more, or at least different from, the gun rack of blasters already out there, and we're happy to say that it's succeeded. Spec Ops: The Line is out next Friday, and we recommend it more than avoiding the window view at this once fabulous resort. Prepare to be infotized. This is your PlayStation briefing. First up, adding to the list of things we know Kyle Walker can do, apart from run really fast and not play in the Champions League next season, is shoot Tom cleverly in the face. The two football stars were at this recent Call of Duty event trying out the latest DLC when we had a word.
Yeah, they've been very good. I mean, obviously me and Klebs have played and I think I've totally dominated the game.
Sticking with football, we recently had our hands on an early version of the bound to be brilliant FIFA 13. The new dribbling and jostling is ace, as producer David Rutter explains, without jostling or dribbling on us at all.
What actually makes dribbling into the box and around players exciting and fun and dramatic, and something that we didn't really have last year.
Also warming our hands this week is Borderlands 2, with us getting an extended play of the game that has 96.5% more wub than Borderlands 1. In a characteristic display of investigative journalism, we set off to find out the meaning of wub by asking developer Gearbox Software.
Wub is a state of mind.
Sort of like jet lag then, which we battled once more on our recent visit to Ubisoft Montreal. We were primarily there for a massive behind closed doors look at Far Cry 3, more on that later, but we couldn't resist dropping in on the Assassin's Creed 3 guys and asking where they'd most like to visit if they had an animus of their own.
I would love nothing more than colonial era India, and obviously Victorian era London is like an easy one.
Thanks guys, and that wraps up our briefing. We'll have more news for you next week. Cooking up some digital delights now, it's the week's best from On The Store. Dogfight enthusiasts, and we're talking Sopwith camels, not pit bulls, can look forward to Air Conflict Secret Wars this week, a military flight sim with added guns set in the very secret war of World War II. You're not just restricted to swatting enemy aircraft either, you get to take on ground and sea forces. So, down diddly, download it today. Sorry. Swooping onto the store in a swirl of augmented reality tech and, more importantly, lots of crackly guns is Ghost Recon Future Soldier, available for a full digital download today. If you haven't yet checked out Ghost Recon's ultra-tight co-op shootery, then we heartily recommend pulling it down your PSN pipes, even if it's only to experience the unrivaled thrill of a synchronised quadruple headshot. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, and it's not even Superman. It's actually Batman. Except in Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes, he's made of plastic bricks instead of childhood trauma and shadows. The Man of Steel does also make an appearance, as well as Robin, the Joker, Catwoman and a lovably blocky Arkham Asylum. Pick it up on PS3 and PS Vita from June the 22nd for some super heroic playtime. Zombie fanciers among you know only too well that last week saw the release of Lollipop Chainsaw, in which a cheerleader, armed with a lethal garden strimmer and her boyfriend's head, takes on legions of the undead. The game was celebrated at last month's MCM Comic-Con in London in the form of an invasion of zombie cheerleaders, who turned out not to be zombies at all, but ladies from Pineapple Dance Studios jiving away in the name of the apocalypse, and also marketing. We did the only decent thing and invaded their hotel room for a pre-makeup chinwag.
Oh, this is definitely different from anything we've done. We've done a lot of promo type things, like for Celebrity Big Brother and things like that, but we've definitely never been made to look ugly for a gig, so it's actually going to be really fun.
Every time I see myself, I get really scared. I'm just like, oh.
A few bullet holes and neck wounds later, and the girls were ready to belt out their routines for hundreds of just as ridiculously dressed spectators. And in the interest of sexual equality, here's a little something for the ladies. Oh, God. Oh, God. You've got to admit, he is actually pretty good at that. For any of you not suffering any lasting trauma, Lollipop Chainsaw is out on PS3 right now.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Far Cry 3 may still be months away from release, but that hasn't stopped mohawked crazy Vass becoming a PS3 icon thanks to his softly spoken insanity and fetching red vest.
Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting to change.
It's also thanks to the efforts of the obscenely talented and equally frightening Michael Mando, the Canadian actor whose body, voice and terrifying eyes will be haunting all our nightmares come Far Cry 3's release this September. On our recent visit to Ubisoft's Montreal studio, we were lucky enough to get a behind-closed-doors look at Michael in mocap action before talking to the man himself. Oh.
Obviously, you know, you're in a suit, you're wearing a helmet, you're not in the environment that you're wearing. These things help a lot. And in film and television, you're acting for the camera and you're acting in like a master or a close-up. So that sort of helps you in specific moments, but the acting, like the internal machine is the same. And the emotions, the truthfulness of the emotion, and all of it it's the same. Acting is acting. The rest is like technical.
And if you're in any doubt as to Mr. Mando's thespian prowess, here's a sneaky extract from the game.
Honey, I want you to do it again.
No.
Give me an Oscar award performance. Come on, please give me some tears.
What makes Voss so unique is that you look at what he's doing, right? He's effectively a tortured artist. He's doing all these installation pieces. When he tortures somebody, he records it and he leaves these messages. And you see in the E3 demo, there's these TVs all over the place where he's basically showcasing his work. I think Voss is pretty crazy. I think he could hold his own against somebody like Hannibal Lecter.
This is my little insane Wahini.
A massive thanks to everyone at Ubisoft for letting us distract their actors for an entire day. If when the game ships you see the wispy virtual outline of a cameraman in that torture scene, feel free to chuck some blame at us. We'll duck and laugh. See you in September, Michael. That's just about it for this week, though before we ride off into the high-def sunset, here's another reason to love Max Payne 3, apart from all the liquor and guns. In between drinking his liver to sleep and shooting everyone with legs in Brazil, Max also has the occasional musical moment. Interact with these pianos dotted through the campaign, and our sozzled star will gradually remember these melancholy chords, which are of course from the original PS2 games, when Max's brilliant face looked like this. Play it again, Max. See you next week.